Let me as a Jew to answer it to you. I'm not a Muslim, but I wish that the Caliphate would come back, and I'll tell you why.
There is a thought in the Western world that the caliphate is an old system and it's an oppressive system. Even the Muslim won't be protected in it, let alone the minorities.
So let me as a Jew,
yes, please.
Let me as a Jew to answer it to you. I'm not a Muslim, but I wish that the Caliphate would come back, and I'll tell you why. The Caliphate have a way to protect the poor people. The jizya that we used to pay, it's only for the rich Jews. Poor Jews that didn't have money used to receive tax credit from the Muslims. We as a Jewish family in Baghdad, our neighbors used to come to bring us sheep for the Jewish holiday Pesach, which is a very expensive holiday. With reference to Caliphate, people making a big mistake. Caliphate was the justice among the Caliphate was amazing. The protection of poor people. Women were very well respected.
Do you think if the Khilafah returns today, the world would be a better place for Muslims and all the other minorities?
Of course. We see that the Muslim nation today are divided because world superpowers, in order to weaken the Muslims and to enjoy and to take advantage of their natural amazing resources, which they have combined all over the Muslim area, oil and gold and copper, anything, yes. One strong caliphate from Morocco till Pakistan, till Bangladesh, would be a solid caliphate which will bring a lot of honor, unity, prosperity in spiritualism and in justice, respect for the women.
As a rabbi and according to Judaism, what's the future for the Palestinians and the Palestine, and what's the future of Zionism? I asked the same question to Rabbi Beck, but I would like to hear from you.
The Torah says that Zionism will come to an end. All the rabbis before the Second World War said that the Zionists will be driven out of Palestine, but Jews would remain with the Palestinians. That did so many favors for Jews, been demonized as terrorist, vicious nation. Is that true? Or is it just a cheap Zionist, vicious propaganda which we're facing till now? The Zionist entity which controls the media, social media, radio station, television stations, and radio and the newspapers are trying to distort and change the history. Let me just remind you a little bit of history, how great is Jews lived among underneath the wings of Islam. In the first Caliph, Abu Bakr, and the followed Caliph, Ali Omar bin Khattab, they gave the fatwa to protect Jews. We Jews fairly pay the jizya, the tax for non-Muslims that live underneath the wings of Islam. We've been granted religious and economical rights in Iraq, in Egypt, Syria, Jordan, and all over the place till Morocco. When the Caliph established his Caliphate in Baghdad, we greeted him, yes, and he respected us so much. He gave a fatwa to respect the grandchildren of King David. And that's how we live such a long time, with protection of the Muslims. Blood libels never existed by the Muslim countries. You can check it. It was only in Europe. Jews, by the end of the Caliphate from Bet Umayyah, the Caliph of the Abdurrahman I fled from Babylon, from Iraq to Spain, He created his own caliphate. That was the golden era. 300 years the Jews we've been respected and was full partners of the Muslim caliphate with such a great times. Even our Al-Najdallah, Rabbi Shmuel the Nugid, he was the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Foreign Affairs in Spain till he died. That's Muslims knew how to exploit our knowledge in economy and science and belief, since we shared believe in one God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Palestine, the Palestinians, which been demonized as savages and animals, and I'd like to say that any Zionist that's saying that Palestinians are animals, he is the animal, he's the terrorist. Palestinian always, yes, open the door of Palestine for Jews. When Jews been expelled from Spain, from Europe, they found a safe haven in Palestine. They opened the door for that, for us, and that's we have only to say to them, thank you, good Palestinians. Palestinians never thought about building a military power while scared of Jews, because they knew that the immigration of Jewish people from the Arab countries, even from Europe, is only have one purpose, religious purpose, to live underneath the wings of Islam, to keep the Jewish Torah and to enjoy from the holiness of Palestine, but nothing more than that. Palestinians, when they saw that this evil Zionist colonial power who came to oust them from Palestine, then they started to build their military force, but it was too late, because the Zionists used and exploited their wonderful hospitality in Palestine. When they realized that that they have to start to resist the Zionists, it was too late. However, I can tell you something. Even though, but in 1936, after the great Palestinian revolt, which was crushed, unfortunately, by our British beloved government, the Palestinians saw that the Zionists are here to stay and to oust them. They still were welcoming Jews and respect them fairly. There was a gay rabbi, he was a rabbi of a Jewish community that wanted to run away from Poland, which they suffered from so much of anti-Semitism, to come to Palestine. So he went to check if there's any way to still live with the Palestinians after what the Zionists are defying them and trying to take their land. He said, my friends, he wrote in a letter, the Palestinians are friendly people. We're not allowed to take their land, and they will welcome us. There's also the King Abdullah, the first king of Jordan, Abdullah I, the son of King Hussein from Saudi Arabia, said, Jews have been welcome in Palestine as long as they don't have any Zionist national aspiration. And as you know, my friend, Jews that shouldn't have any national aspiration, because any try to do such a thing, to get out of exile, would end up with a disaster and catastrophe, the same as we see now.